like the AirPods 2, AirPods Pro 2 will now be able to be used as clinical grade hearing aids just with a software update.
What?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
For $250.
Yeah.
And they have Siri.
And you said, like, so hearing aids, yes?
Well, the headphones just the normal headphones that came out for music, now they have a clinical grade FDA approved hearing test on them to test for hearing loss, early signs of hearing loss and hearing loss. And based on those results, it will give you a configuration on your headphones to use your headphones as a clinical grade hearing aid. I'm not sure how they're gonna. It hasn't been released yet.
Be Nice Individuals Podcast.
Hey folks, this is Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals Podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. I have none other than John Paul in studio from iHelp. We're going to talk about it. I've seen him around on social media a lot. You guys may know his brother, David Paul. He's around as well, not, as out there on social media as someone like me, but I've always heard about the brother. I wanted to meet the brother, and now we got him right here in the Flagler Voice studio. So let's talk about it. John, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, Daddy. Thank you so much for having me. This place is awesome.
Yeah, so this is a little nook of sorts, this room. And what was interesting about this space is out there was a kind of a construction zone for a little bit, and people would walk in the door and be like, and then they walk in here like, because it was just completely separated.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've done a couple of podcasts.
Yeah.
This is definitely the nicest setup I've been a part of.
Oh, well, thank you. I was not involved in any of this in here. Like, I did some work out in the lobby. Like, I finished the shiplap that's on the walls. Alan had got it to a certain point, and I helped get it the rest of the way up. And then I painted the walls. I ripped up the floor that was previously out there. It was like a laminate or something. It was there since 1985.
Retro.
It was very retro since the building was built, right? The problem is, since it sat there so long, it did not want to come up. I think that's how it worked. And so I had one of those tools. I don't know if you've ever done like any floor ripping up.
I have not.
It hurt in places I did not use. I did not use my cast because you're taking like the tool and you're ramming it underneath the tile and it's like vibrating your whole body. I'm like, this is terrible. Yeah,
I believe you. I don't think I have to try it.
No.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
If you don't have to do it, don't do it. So let's talk about iHelp. I know you're in Apple because we were just talking about it off camera, but iHelp, tell me about it, tell me what it is, and kind of tell me about how you got into it.
Sure. So I'll start with today, and then I'll kind of tell you the origin story. So iHelp is primarily a managed service provider, which if you're in the industry, you know exactly what that is. If you're most people, that's not a term that gets thrown around a lot. What that means basically is we're an outsourced IT department. So companies that have expanding IT needs that doesn't make sense to hire a full-time IT person or a full-time IT team because that's a lot of work. That's a lot
benefits and all that.
It's a lot of payroll and a lot of dependence on one person to not just show up and continue to make things work, but to make decisions in the best interest of the business owner, which there are situations where that works out well, but generally if you're under 50 to 100 seats in managed computers, it doesn't make sense. So a company would come out, would reach out to a company, that business would reach out to a company like mine, and let us know their needs, which usually are not 40 hours a week. And from there, we usually there's a couple of problems. That's why they reach out. We get those resolved and then put together a management plan for them. So keeping their security up to date, their backups working, their network running, and supporting their various software needs. So it's pretty cool because we get to work on a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're in, if you're employed by one company, you're going to get really good at just their systems.
Sure.
But with us, I work with all the major email providers.
So you're like a jack of all trades, is what
I always say jack of all trades, master of a few.
Don't say that. You say master of all. I can do anything that is required in the IT world. But it's one of those things, I'm sure you have a lot of experience, and even if it's a new system, you can go in there and you can figure it out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I say in being a jack of all trades, most businesses don't need with IT. I think for those who are not involved in the industry,
sure,
there are so many layers of depth to any particular thing. Like even on your phone, there's a 1,000 different disciplines went into making your phone work the way that it does.
Yeah.
So and rarely there's a need for somebody who knows how a camera lens architecture works.
I don't want to know that.
You don't. and probably even the guy who designed the phone doesn't need to know it to that level, but technology is about layers of abstraction.
Sure.
Right? So being that jack of all trades, we can go in and learn a new system quickly.
Sure.
We know how to use support guides and get our questions answered.
Sure.
But that's really my favorite part about it, is because it's always changing, it's always expanding, there's always something new.
So you never get bored.
I try to be bored on Sundays.
Okay.
But as a career, it stays interesting. There's always just yesterday, the day before, iOS 18 released, Mac OS Sequoia, so all the Apple devices are getting their update. Windows 11, we're probably going to hear about Windows 12 or whatever they're going to call the next version sometime soon. Unfortunately, Windows 10's retiring. But yeah, it's always changing, always evolving. And that's what I like about it.
That's cool. So you're like the tech guy. So iOS 8. Now that's going to affect the computers as well as like the phones and stuff, or
I know you're a Windows guy.
I am a Windows guy.
iOS 18.
Okay, 18.
Yes, sir. 18 years of iOS. The iPhone is on its 18th generation, 18th year of software.
Yeah, I definitely heard you wrong.
Yeah.
18.
18.
Okay.
And boy, has it, and I've watched the keynotes and done every single update.
You're a fanboy.
I am. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Yeah.
I know some people, aren't big Apple fans, but for me, for what I do, it works really well. So iOS 18 is going to be an update to pretty much every phone that's
interesting.
Every iPhone that's less than 5 years old.
Yeah.
iPhone 8s lose their support this year.
Oh, okay.
10s are still being supported. So, which is one of my favorite things about Apple, is once a year we get a whole host of new features.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which just it's like all the stuff I had just got better.
Yeah, that's true, because with Apple, it's a whole
ecosystem.
I was going to say that word. I was looking for it. I said it starts with an E.
Ecosystem.
I was going to say environment, but I'm like, that's not right. It's a whole ecosystem. Like you got your phone, you got your computer, you got your AirPods, you got whatever else, other things, iPad, all that stuff. And it's all running that same iOS 18. Is that right?
Yeah, so the iPhones are going to run iOS 18, iPads are going to run iPad OS, TVs are going to run TV OS, Macs are going to run Mac OS 15 Sequoia. So they all get they've kind of fractioned the updates per device, but it's your whole ecosystem gets a boost. Like the AirPods 2, AirPods Pro 2 will now be able to be used as clinical grade hearing aids just with a software update.
What? That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
For $250.
Yeah.
And they have Siri.
And you said so hearing aids, yes?
Well, the headphones just the normal headphones that came out for music, now they have a clinical grade FDA approved hearing test on them to test for hearing loss, early signs of hearing loss and hearing loss. And based on those results, it will give you a configuration on your headphones to use your headphones as a clinical grade hearing aid. I'm not sure how they're gonna. It hasn't been released yet, so nobody's like tested it compared to $1,000 hearing aids or $10,000 hearing aids. I'm sure those are still going to be better, but for somebody who has light hearing loss to be able to throw in a $200 pair of headphones and improve your hearing,
that's freaking awesome.
They do a lot for accessibility and, you know, the all sorts of different disabilities. They really, over the years, have like really led the charge on making their products accessible to everybody. And it's just amazing to see what they keep coming up with every year.
One thing that I'm learning from just this conversation is you need to be sponsored by Apple if you're not already sponsored.
I've been saying this.
You need a sponsorship.
Apple, if you're listening, I don't even want money. Just give me new tech for free. Yeah, I'll take I'll just upgrade my phone, my computer once a year, and I will even more enthusiastically and support you.
Yeah. So I like the improvement of technology, the advances. It's really cool now that with technology, this is my opinion on it, is once you get to a certain technology, now it just like compounds. Boom, 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 boom. And I feel the same way with like AI. Now, do you use AI in what you do with IT work?
Not to the extent I expect to in the future. There's AI is brand new.
Okay.
So there's really, and that's what's really exciting about it right now is everybody's trying new applications, different chat bots. I use it very lightly for, some like text creation. It's really, really useful for spreadsheets. Unbelievably useful to be able to go in, talk to my phone, tell it my problem, and it say, oh, here's your formula, copy and paste this, drag it, and that'll accomplish your task. Cool. Like little stuff like that. It's entering, it's slowly creeping its way into my life. I go to it, I would say it's replaced Google to probably about 40% of my use. Like if I need a very specific answer with a model number and, really need to grind down, I still go to Google. But when I want something explained to me, I don't waste time with Google or ads. I go to ChatGPT and say, hey, what's one I just did? I was looking for toothpaste. And I was like,
what's the best one or something like that?
This is, I have sensitive teeth and I like this and I like that. And it gave me a couple recommendations and I just bought one. Just simple stuff. Like it's just where I would go to Google. Now I go to ChatGPT and then I can ask follow-up questions about my search. It's amazing.
I'm going to nerd out with you.
Let's do it
right here. So
if that wasn't nerding out already.
No, I'm going to do it with you.
All right, let's do it. Come on.
So I love ChatGPT. I love the AI. I like to make the custom agents. So I tried to make a custom agent for Walmart, specifically the one in Palm Coast. I gave it the map, but it's not there at this point yet where you can give it the map and have it organize your grocery list according to where things are in the store. Because I wanted to do that. Like, here, I'll tell you my OCDness, okay? My wife, she'll handwrite a grocery list. That's not good enough for me. I take that handwritten grocery list, and on my phone, I put it in order according to how I'm going to walk through the store, which you start, if you go in that Walmart, you start, there's the bread there and the produce. So it's, well, what if I could take a picture of her handwritten thing, because you can take a picture and tell it to turn it into text. Take that and organize it according to this specific location Walmart. Like, that's what I want AI to get to. That's cool.
I'm almost a little bit surprised that didn't work. The map that you uploaded, did it have everything labeled?
I think so. I think I would actually have to, like, tell it where things are, and then it would probably be able to configure itself according to that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It always... Oh, my bad. No. It always it constantly surprises me with what it can do, and sometimes what it can't do, and like what it's not so good at.
What do you think about the new thing that's going to be coming out with ChatGPT. Was it like ChatGPT 5? Isn't that supposed to be like the end all, mind blowing, world ending cybernet? I don't know. I think it'll be really cool.
I haven't looked into ChatGPT 5 too much, but we're in that like sweet spot right now where every year we can reasonably expect some pretty substantial improvements. Like the iPhone we go back to the iPhone as an example.
Yeah.
The iPhone 1 to the iPhone 4, that's a different phone.
That is
like we got the front facing camera. Everything improved. The 3G, the 4G network. The App Store was starting to get good. And, even through the 6, 7, 8, wherever you want to stop it. But now the last 6 years of iPhones, its camera got better, battery got better. It's fastest iPhone ever. So you hit a point, and one example I always use is with televisions. Televisions used to be very expensive. Yeah, especially when flat screens came out.
That's true. They were thick and heavy.
Thick, heavy. I think an uncle of mine bought it was like a 32-inch plasma TV, and he paid thousands of dollars for it. Now you want a 65-inch TV, 4K, Amazon will bring it to you for $300 because the technology kind of maxes out. Like, how do you make a television better?
Yeah,
it's already as clear as can be. The refresh rate's as good as it can be. I don't want it any brighter. I don't want it like there's nothing really you can improve, so it's just minor incremental improvements and things getting smaller. But
it's gonna go to the headsets though.
Yeah,
those are gonna improve. Where you're gonna be in the movie, or this is gonna be weird.
Yeah. Oh man, VR, AR are like so cool. And it's the same with AI. We're just in that trend now where there's competitors. There's money in the market, and everybody's trying to come up with trying to outdo the other one to improve it faster. We haven't had, ChatGPT is a big player, and Google, and in a month or two, Apple will be playing in that space. Microsoft is playing in that space. So it's like there's competition because everybody wants a piece of that piece of that pie, and with competition, we get better products.
I feel like it's going to change the industry though that you're in too. Like, as much as you use it now, which you say you don't use it that much, how much AI is going to be integrated into people's website that you're going to have like a more thorough understanding of? Because you're working with artificial intelligence now that possibly can do some of these things and tasks, and it's going to be a weird, interesting world. Yeah,
it is. And what excites me most with like the adoption of AI is how it's going to change how we use our devices, because that's something I spend a lot of time thinking about and have for a while. But it's just we're going to see it next month when Apple's version comes out, because it's going to be the most integrated into an operating system. So it's going to be able to open stuff, do things for you. They've set a lot of expectations.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hey, I'm rooting for them. Everybody should be rooting, whether you're an Apple guy or not.
I'm rooting for them.
Apple taking a huge leap forward, a good huge leap forward, is
It's going to impact Google as well.
Going to put Google on their toes. Going to put Microsoft on their toes.
Competition.
Everybody.
I love it.
Yeah. When Apple steps into a space is usually when like things it's not when things are heating up. It's generally evidence that things have heated up. They didn't enter the phone industry until smartphones just started coming onto the scene. It did the same with their Apple Vision, which is now a year old. We've had 5 generations of the Quest, 6 generations of the Quest before Apple steps in. Now AI, we're 4 or 5 years into it, and Apple's getting started.
That's cool.
So it's just exciting to think about the possibilities of what could be.
I'm wondering what it's going to look like with cybersecurity. Now, do you do cybersecurity as well? Is that part of your forte? I
am not like I said, jack of many trades. But so we do cybersecurity on the level that our clients need it. So we're not dealing with banks or hospitals or any really high profile target. high profile targets where and the thing with cybersecurity is like you got to think about the hacker's motivation, right? That's why it's very, very rare for like a regular person to truly get hacked.
Sure.
Usually the word hacked is being used instead of scammed.
Oh, okay.
So scams happen all the time.
Yeah.
Every day I get 25 to 50 messages in my inbox. Hey, is this spam? Is this a scam? That's very different than getting hacked. It's kind of social engineering and really more of just a scam. Because somebody who iPhones can get hacked, any network can get hacked, which is scary to think about, but those hackers aren't going to waste their time and talent on a maybe scenario. They want to go for a power plant or a very large organization, or more often than not like another government is how they want to use those exploits. So the term, one of the terms is 0 day. A 0 day attack means it came out today. Those are the ones that are lethal. Because there's no protection. There's no protection. Most antivirus is just looking at threats that have already happened and preventing those. So you get with better antivirus, you get protection from 0 day viruses because it's not looking at what attacks have happened. It's looking at how attacks could happen and irregularities in a system. But yeah, that's always the comforting words I give somebody when they're worried they're getting hacked is like, you're probably not. Like there's probably not an Einstein anonymous hacker on the other end of the computer that's trying to ruin your life because his time is going to be wasted. He has much bigger targets.
Probably just wants money.
Probably wants fast, easy money. He wants this. They want to scam as many people as they can for $500.
Sure.
They're not trying to, and some do. There are some. I've seen some just horrific scam cyber fraud cases. And I heard from a geriatric care manager of one of their patients who fell victim to a scam, kept interacting with him. He had some memory loss, memory issues. They were sending people to his house. They got him for the number they knew about was like 150 grand.
Oof, that's crazy.
Yeah, that again, not being hacked, just scammed.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's just about the levels of what there is to be gained. Even a semi-large business doesn't have $50 million to pay in ransom. That's what they're looking for.
That's what they're looking.
The best ones are looking for the biggest pots of gold.
Yeah. Interesting, dude. We're gonna have to have you back on, talk more about this, nerd out together. Of course.
Was that 15 minutes already?
That was over 15 minutes. We've been crushing it. We've just been talking. See, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
You were wondering about the format. Everybody wonders about the format. Like, there's really no way to prepare for it. We're just gonna have a conversation, talk about stuff that you find interesting and I find interesting, and it'll go really smoothly. But anyway, for the people out there that are in the audience, would you shout out your contact information so they can get a hold of you for their IT services and things like that?
Absolutely, yeah. So our website is very basic. It's really just a contact form, which is the name of the company, ih3lp.com. I help with a 3 for an E. Our phone number is 386-444-9794. If you have any IT needs or questions, we're happy to assist. We do primarily do commercial, but residential. We also support many residential users. So if you got a slow computer, think you're getting hacked, we're happy to step in and help with that. Please.
But reach out to John Paul for all your IT needs. Especially if you're a business and you don't want to have a dedicated IT department, it's a great way to kind of delegate that out to a company that's really what they specialize in for those businesses, where you can just focus on what you do. Let them focus on what they do so that you can perform kind of succinctly, so you can have this nice melding together. But reach out to John Paul, and he is from iHelp. Loves Apple, obviously, but reach out to him for all your IT needs. Again, this has been Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. Again, this is a space where people can rent out time. They can come in here if they're a business, they're an individual. Maybe they want to reach their audience. Maybe they want to shout out their business. We can make all that possible. And maybe you're a political candidate that wants to reach out to your constituents. We have call-in features to make that where it could be masterful. Call-in features where we can take questions on the air. If you want to get to that level, it will be perfect. Again, this is Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for having me, Thaddeus.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.